All right, huge Spotify news that just dropped today. I'm here to share. They finally released their official guidelines and policy on AI protections on the platform. So let's go through that. So there's three major policy changes that they have released and that they outline in this article. They are improved enforcement of impersonation violations, a new spam filtering system, and AI disclosures for music with industry standard credits. All right, first up is their stronger impersonation rules. So there's two parts to this. First, they released their new impersonation policy, which has to do with how they handle AI voice clones and deep fakes for artist voices. The big piece here is vocal impersonation is only allowed in music on Spotify where the impersonated artist has authorized the usage. So I read through the impersonation policy and it reads similar to a DMCA takedown request, which is what you use when someone's infringing your copyright. So I'm hopeful that an artist whose voice is being used without their consent only has to show that they never authorized the use in writing for the music to be taken down. I'm hoping that that's how Spotify handles this. And then the second piece of this first one is they've updated their content mismatch process, which is a huge problem that's been ongoing for years. Many artists, many attorneys, many industry leaders have been vocal about this. There's not been a lot of protections in place over a Spotify artist page and how they control it, right? A lot of bad actors have released music and claimed it to be some popular artist, and it appears on their page, and there's very little they can do about it until they notice it later to get it taken down. And that person can potentially make royalties off of that, and it's fraudulent. So they've updated this policy. So they've reduced wait times for review for artists, and they've enabled artists to report mismatches on their page, even in the pre-release stage. So that's great. So the second policy change here is huge, in my opinion, and a big, big, big step in the right direction when it comes to AI music. They're releasing a music spam filter. So they first outline here that spam tactics on Spotify include mass uploads, duplicates, SEO hacks, artificially short track abuse, and other forms of AI-generated slop, in their own words, that are used to generate large volumes of music to dilute the royalty pool. They say this fall we'll roll out a new music spam filter. It will help to identify uploaders and tracks engaging in the fraudulent tactics, tag them, and stop recommending them in the algorithm. They want to be sure they're not penalizing the wrong uploaders, so they're going to roll out the system conservatively. This is a huge deal because, as they point out here, left unchecked, these behaviors dilute the royalty pool and impact attention away from genuine artists who are playing by the rules. This is what people have been hoping to see from an industry leader like Spotify. This means that they'll have some system of detecting fraud, which can include just mass AI generated slop, and prevent it from being pushed out in the algorithm, and hopefully prevent it from being paid out royalties as well, because Spotify uses a royalty pool. There's one big pool of money, and that's all the money that gets to go to everyone that gets streams on the platform. They have certain policies and thresholds, but that's generally how it works. The more and more and more music that's dumped in there and artists that are dumped in there, the more diluted that pool can become. So obviously having millions of AI generated tracks uploaded every week would be a huge problem if they were promoting those and paying out on those. So this is a big deal, and I'm really hopeful seeing that. And the third and final policy change that they released is the AI disclosures for music with industry standard credits. So as they point out here, there obviously needs to be a way to show that AI tools were used in creating music for the listener, transparency, trust, and all of that. So they say the industry needs a nuanced approach to AI transparency, not to be forced to classify every song as either AI or not AI. So what they're doing is they're using the DDEX system to develop a new industry standard for AI disclosures for music credits. So they're going to use information provided to them at the time of upload through labels, distributors, and music partners to display information about what was AI generated on the track across the platform. So that could be generated vocals, instrumentation, post-production, the whole song, etc. And they specifically say that the change is about strengthening trust on the platform and not punishing artists who use AI responsibly or downranking tracks for disclosing information about how they were made. And they go on to point out that this is a huge industry-wide effort, not just on their part, to create this new industry standard between a bunch of different names, including many that you've heard of, like CD Baby, DistroKid, Empire, Fuga, etc. So my thoughts on all this. I think it's fantastic. I think this is a step in the right direction. I think I feel really hopeful about the whole AI problem for the first time in a while because Spotify is just such a huge industry leader. I love the first two policies that they added, the impersonation policy, the content mismatch. I think that that's huge. I think that's going to be great for artists to have more control over their voice on the platform and their music and their pages. The music spam filter, fantastic, amazing. Doesn't really matter if it's AI or not. Anybody who's trying to defraud the system and the royalty pool should absolutely be punished, should be pulled out of the algorithm, all of that. So I love to see that. The disclosures for music industry credits, I do like this. I'm not in love with it yet. I got to see how it develops. I tend to agree that it shouldn't just be a policy of AI music or not AI music, of course, right? Because there's going to be many people who use it as a tool effectively in their music. There already are. And those people shouldn't be punished for that. I do agree with that. But at the same time, my problem with this is it sounds like they're still on the side of even if a song is almost entirely or entirely AI generated, if it wasn't made in bad faith, then they still want to be able to possibly push it in the algorithm to new listeners. And I don't know how much I love that because I think what people will really want to see from this is the ability to say, I don't want to hear any AI music on the platform. I promise you, there are very few people who actually wish to hear and be pushed new music that is fully AI generated. So I really hope that they eventually can implement something that allows you to say, I don't want to hear that on the platform and opt out from it. I can say personally, as a Spotify user, if I'm being recommended fully AI generated tracks and there's nothing I can do to pull those out of my algorithm, that's going to be a big problem for me. And I might jump ship from Spotify to a platform that doesn't have that problem because I just personally don't want to listen to a fully AI generated track. I don't want to listen to AI generated vocals. I just have no desire to do that. And I know a lot of people agree with me on that. So this is a step in the right direction, but I'm interested to see how it evolves and to see what they do about it in the future. So let me know your thoughts on all of this. Does this make you feel any better about the state of AI? Does this change anything for you? Does this change nothing for you? How do we feel about Spotify these days? Leave it in the comments and let me know any other questions you have. I'm the Music Law Guy. I got your back for all things music business. Be sure to follow for more great advice.